there space for faith and creativity to meet? I think so. I think yes. I do think that there's a place where faith and creativity can meet. But I do think one just has to stop a little bit and ask, what is faith? And why is it needed? Why do we need to have faith in the things that we're doing on this earth? Is there even space to partner with God in the creative things that we get to do? And how does one even partner with God and the things that we get to do? But one thing for sure is I do know that as people, as humans, as people in God's kingdom, we are made and created to produce, to create. Yeah, as you can see, as you've seen in Genesis, it says, "Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it." And that fruitful part is we are called to produce fruit of some kind. But the question is, that thing that we're producing, how can it be fruitful if it's not with God and if it's not with your faith? And I actually go through this a bit in the Art and Plus podcast episode that just released. And essentially in that space, we talk about how God has actually used different people, even in the Bible, to actually partner with them in creating something that they had to step in faith into in order to accomplish what God wanted them to do. You take people like your Noahs, you get into people like your David, and you then get to see that God actually moves through people, and he moves through the ways he's gifted you. But at the end of the day, it's his word and it's his will that he wants to accomplish through that person. And as I was also looking at this, I realized that this thing called being a creative or just being a person that creates, it's less about title and more about how you can allow God to move through you. I've literally completely removed that concept of title and how I call myself. I'm a director, I'm a producer, some of this, some of that. And it's like, no, actually, I'm just a child of God, just allowing God to use her. And so this is what I actually discuss in the Art and Plus podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube. And you look at people like your David, shepherd boy. At some point, then became a musician because he had to help King Saul with his spirits. And then at some point, he was a warrior, and then he went into being a king, and then all of a sudden, he's writing psalms, and now he's a writer. And sometimes all of these things became at the same time, but you basically get to see that this person was actually not just about the titles, because he could have just sat down and said, no, I'm not going to go and do pop things for the king. I'm here, I'm good with the sheep, you know. But instead, he was like, listen, I'll be used, I'm surrendering. And this is what I actually discussed, that how do you partner with God and how do you partner with faith, just stepping out in the thing that God called you to do?